This week's episode was brought to you by the noisy cafe I'm sitting in, because not releasing the episode right now would mean waiting another 2 or 3 days, and I can't handle that. So thank you for bearing with me. The rest of the episode will not have this background noise. Now that you've heard my disclaimer, this week's episode was brought to you by Tom Cameron, Axel Pierce, and Nobody. Thank you, Tom Cameron, Axel Pierce, and Nobody. It's with the generous support of listeners just like you that helps keep our team of sentient lagomorphic writers hopped up on cheap coffee, even cheaper donuts, and of course an insatiable drive to inform the world about the imminent invasion of the bloodthirsty doppelganger predators lurking outside your window. If you'd like to help us prepare to defend the world from the human-mimicking alien threat, or just hear the second half of this episode, then please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only get you the extended version of this episode, but the full-length uncensored version of all our shows. And that's not all. I'll even send you a 5x5 high-quality vinyl, water-resistant, extra sticky Baphomet bunny stickers of our cover art. But there's more. Once you log into Patreon for the first time, you can browse our episodes from right within Spotify, and you'll even be given the keys to our Discord server, which is where the listeners and authors of the show collaborate in real time about how to sabotage the Black Iron Prison, which I'm currently stuck in. If you enjoy the free section of The Whole Rabbit well enough and would rather save your $5 for 20 minutes of paid parking, then please just consider giving our show a like, subscribe, a positive review, or best of all, tell a friend you know that likes strange content as much as you do. Also, thank you for sticking with us through our interrupted release schedule this week and next week, because I'm working on these episodes between international flights on a mission to get Hecka Astra American citizenship so we can hunt Yetis as a family and record about it in the same room. Please bear with us as we will return to our normal release schedule soon. This week's episode has us sitting around the campfire and sharing spooky stories sourced from the darkest corners of the internet, mostly focused on the strange, unthinkably weird, and dangerous monster-like creatures that lurk in the woods. In the free section of the show, we touch upon Skinwalkers, vertical-eyed skunk monsters, the true zoological identity of Bigfoot, it's pretty cool, and the wrathful incarnation of Bob the Builder. In the extended show, we tell more stories, which include hell-hounds, doppelgangers, Santa's wife, giants, teleporting Bigfoot assassins, body-snatchers, and the metaphysical perspective on how such things could even exist. Thank you, and enjoy the show. What is a ghost's favorite play?
The Phantom of the Opera?
No, that works. No, it's Romeo and Juliet.
That's terrible.
What do you call two witches who live together? Roommates?
Yo.
What room does a ghost not need in a house?
The living room.
Oh, that's, yes.
You got it. It's a living room. How do ghosts send letters through the ghost office?
There.
And lastly, why can't skeletons play church music?
Why?
Because they have no organs.
Yo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Whole Rabbit, where we don't just drop a load of majestic eagle malarkey directly into your lap and run away with our hands flailing wildly above our heads, hissing wildly with irreverent abandon. Nay, we slither out from under a shimmering hunk of emerald green glass formed by the impact of a meteor aeons ago and wrap ourselves into a cute little bowl of delicious creepypasta, because this week we're gathering around the fire to share spoopy stories and tales from the beyond, sourced directly from the darkest recesses of the universe.
Yay, spoopy stories.
I'm your host, Hack Rabbit, also known as Luke Madrid. I'm joined this week by the matron of metallic meatloaf, Mori-sama.
Yeah.
The misjudged masseuse of Medusa, Malacor 5.
Coming to you live from the bog of 1,000 stenches, because I am a smelly boy today.
And the handler of the holy hot cakes, Hecka Astra.
Hello, it's hot.
So this week, I'm visiting Hecka Astra in the frozen north on a super secret spy mission to smuggle the strappy young lass into the land of the free and the home of the brave with nothing but a small stack of Monopoly money, a bowl of chili, and a Dodge Charger. So needless to say, I thought we would take it easy on ourselves and kick off our wet shoes, grab a cup of hot chocolate, and settle in around the fire for some spoopy stories, sourced from the spoopiest place in the whole world, the internet.
I'm scared.
You should be. So, for the stories I sourced for today's episode, I was attempting to find tales that were believable, something that could actually happen. I happen to be staying in a very cryptid, haunted area of Canada.
The Okanagan.
Yes, this is where they have their Loch Ness Monster, the Canadian Loch Ness Monster.
Ogopogo.
And of course, there's Yetis,
Yep.
and probably black-eyed kids.
And rattlesnakes.
Ooh, those are real.
We have a rattlesnake island that has like a bunch of indigenous folklore related to it, where you have to make a sacrifice before you can cross the water.
Sign me up.
Isn't the water full of all these undiscovered, uncharted tunnels?
Yeah, we don't know like the actual layout of all of the tunnels because there's just so many underwater tunnels in Okanagan Lake. It's not fully charted. That's where Ogopogo lives.
You need underwater tunnels. That's where the Lovecraftian monsters can hide. So let's get to our first tale. It's by Anonymous, and you are to imagine a very cozy cabin. It begins. I have a cabin in buttfuck nowhere, Colorado, I decided to go up to for a couple weeks. No internet. A single landline phone. State of the art for the 80s. On Wednesday, April 10th, Colorado had a blizzard. It wasn't too bad in the cities, but where I was, it was horrible. That's all the background you need to know. And then the traditional green text style of narrative begins. Be sitting in my cabin, stoking the fire during the buttfuck blizzard, hanging out and watching some DVDs on a CRT older than Father Time himself since I can't go outside. Constant howling of the wind. Turn up the volume. Eventually get up to piss, so I pause the movie. Wind is no longer howling. Didn't notice since the TV was blasting. I find it strange since it's been doing it for 4 hours now. Thank fuck it's over. Take a few steps until I hear it. Click. Look around. Literally have never heard this clicking noise, and I've been up here for 5 months. Click. Realize it's coming from outside. A branch probably snapped and hit my cabin, and it's rocking back and forth or some shit. Fuck me, I'm not going outside. I can deal with the noise. Then I'm standing in the bathroom. I begin to piss. Click. Annoyed. I finish up, walk outside the bathroom. Click. I realize there's no consistency to the clicking sound. I can't even expect it. It happens just whenever. I sit back down and continue to watch the movie. Turn the volume down since the wind isn't howling. Then the clicking speeds up multiple times a minute. Fuck it, I'll go take a nap or something on the other side of the cabin so I can't hear it. I walk into my bedroom. The clicking begins. The bedroom is like 50 feet from where the TV is, but the click is just as loud. It's like it's fucking following me. I try to ignore it and go to sleep. The inconsistency of the clicking breaks me. Throw on snow gear. Time to fuck up this branch for making me go outside. I walk to the door and brace myself. I open it swiftly and feel old man winter fuck me in the ass. Quickly walk out and shut the door. Walk around the cabin in blinding snow looking for a branch like an idiot. Make multiple laps and can't find the asshole. Assume it finally got loose and flew away. Go back inside. No clicking. Feels good, man. I go take my nap in peace. Fall into a deep slumber. I wake up about 2 p.m. Click, 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 click. Start to feel a little bit uneasy. I don't give it a second thought. I throw on snow gear, go outside. No branches, no howling, no nothing. Go back inside and go from mad to upset because I can't figure out what the fuck the sound is. Click, 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 click. Walk to different rooms, try to escape it. Click, 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 click. How the fuck is it following me through the cabin? Then I have a moment of realization. It's not coming from the sides of the cabin. It's coming from the roof. All rational thought has gone out the window from the sound of this fucking clicking. Snow gear. Walk outside. Storm has calmed for now, but it's still foggy. I can only see about 20 feet ahead. I walk around, grab my ladder, prop that shit up. This ends now. Begin to climb up the ladder and stop. I can only hear the clicking inside, even over the howl of the wind. DEFCON 2 X warned me about this. Climb up high enough to be able to see the top of the roof. At the top, I see a pale figure. My heart stops. DEFCON 1. The figure is hunched over. It's sickly thin, and I can see its spine. It's angled where it can't see me, but I can see it. See it moving slightly. Look slightly down and see it has on hand a fingernail that's probably 6 inches long. Literally just tapping the roof. It stops. It slowly turns its head to me. Black eyes, a small slit for a mouth. No features besides that, almost like a crude drawing of a fucking alien. It begins to stand up. By the way, it's true. Your life does flash before your eyes when you think you're about to die. It stands up, staring at me. Probably 5 feet tall, give or take. Walks to the edge of the roof cabin,
never taking its eyes off me. Hops down on the ground. I can see it land, and it slowly backs away into the fog towards the trees. Never stops locking eyes with me. Petrified. Probably didn't move for 5 minutes, or at least that's what it felt like in the blistering cold, gripping a ladder. Then I snap out of it. I climb down carefully, don't even bother to take it down. Realize I'm in shock. Calmly walk around the cabin and go inside. Walk around the house, turn off lights, put out the fire, grab the keys, and walk out. Don't bother grabbing anything else besides my wallet next to my keys. Storm is picked back up, but I'm literally in some kind of trance, and I don't even notice. Close the door and don't bother locking it. Slowly walk to the car, open the door, get in, start it, and swing around. Still in shock, I drive for hours until I reach a motel. The shock is wearing off, and I can feel myself ready to go fucking crazy. I quickly get a room, and now I start feeling adrenaline and rush up to my room. Open it and close it and start freaking the fuck out over what I saw. For a few hours, I was freaking out in the hotel room, calmed down, and slept for about 16 hours. I drove back up to the cabin, fucking bolted inside, grabbed my phone, ran out, locked the door, got in the trunk, and sped off. After reading all of the stories on X, I was more surprised than anything. I didn't immediately flip out, but just went in shock for hours. I got home a few hours ago driving for a while and stopped multiple times to breathe and not flip out again. I think one thing people forget to mention is that fear comes in waves. I'd be driving totally okay, and then suddenly it would hit me, and I'd have to pull over and just sit in my car and calm the fuck down. So I didn't drive like a paranoid schizo or something. I came home and made myself a drink and typed all this out. I don't know what I'm gonna do about the cabin. I don't care right now. Night, assholes. Thanks for listening. Oh, and no, I didn't smell blood or copper.
I thought he said it was in the 80s.
No, his cabin was high tech for the 80s.
Oh.
It had been a really good cabin that had been kept in very good condition.
But it was dated.
Yes. So that's like your classic skinwalker, snow ghoul type creature.
It's pretty spooky.
I don't know. Whenever they describe them all like skinny and sickly, it's like, man, just punch that motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's gonna
But-
drop.
But I also noticed too, when he saw the creature, it maintained eye contact in this weird way, and he was unable to move. So yeah, I know that he was in shock and everything, but how much of that is shock or like psychic paralysis, mind powers?
He
what
should
I
have
mean?
he should have leveled up his wisdom when he reached level 3.
Yeah, it's like when you hit a deer with a tranquilizer so you can move them out of into a nature reserve or something. Like they must have some kind of mind altering ability so that they don't get caught or like kicked in the head.
Well, just cast fondle on them and see how far they get away.
What if it likes it?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, then he made a new friend.
apparently from like rumors about autopsies about that specific kind, they don't really have anything going on down there.
Well, somebody had to take that choice when they met a skinwalker. They're like, yeah, I can tell you they don't have nothing.
I mean-
I fondled them.
There's only one way to find out, right?
Yeah.
Is it okay to call for the fondling of skinwalkers on the air, or is that...
Oh my God.
We're probably breaking a law somehow.
Does it count as bestiality? Because I think then they can't give consent if they're an animal.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, but it doesn't because we're the animal in this case. So it's
It's
like a dog humping your leg.
Hey, as long as we both rolled for initiative, it's on, okay?
No, I think skinwalkers need to consent first, you guys. This isn't funny.
Well, they can run and leave me alone, and I won't chase them. We have choices.
What if it has a cloaca?
Oh, gross.
Okay,
Stop
that's
it.
scary. That's real. That's scary.
Don't say that.
I mean, then
He's just
then
tapping
human,
his cloaca on the roof.
but then human parts wouldn't.
Oh, you could put something in there.
No, you'll damage the cloaca.
I know you would, but you can put something in there if you want. Anyway,
Pots, pans, garlic masher. All right, I'm fairly fond of this next one. It begins. Be me, 14 at the time. Go camping with parents and younger sister. Not incest.png. At Mount Diablo in California for anyone interested. See, that's always where you want to go if you want a cryptid experience. It has to have the devil in the name.
That's true.
Yeah, Devil's Gate, Devil's Canyon,
Devil's panties, devil's
Satan's
cloaca.
Chode.
Or hell.
Satan's chode.
Yeah.
What's that little red thing that swings from the chins of chickens?
Oh, I forgot what that's called. A waddle?
A waddle.
Satan's
Gizzard.
waddle. He sets up camp, sun goes down, sit around fire until about 11, just talking and shit. Cool parents let me have alcohol, so I'm a little tipsy. They go to bed in their tent. Me and my sister are sharing a tent about 50 feet away. Go lay down in tent, talk for a while, hear weird sounds outside the tent. Think first it's my parents fucking. It's too far away, and on the opposite side of where they are. Send nails on a chalkboard, but organic, like something living had made it. Hard to describe. Tell sister it's a deer. She's tired. She had a little bit to drink too, so she accepts that and falls straight to sleep. Lay in bed sleeping bag for about 15 minutes. Can't sleep. Not really worried about the sound. 30 minutes pass by. Still can't sleep. Fuck my life. I had just fallen asleep. None of this would have ever happened. Start to hear rustling a little ways off. Tell myself it's probably my dad taking a shit. Sounds like rustling leaves at the top of the tree though. It starts to get really aggressive, like whatever it is trying to take the tree down. Suddenly, it gets real quiet. Too quiet, .png. Try to relax. I've been camping for years, and I know what foxes and mountain lions sound like. I've heard about every animal in California forest. I have no idea what could have made the sound I heard back then. Literal screech pierces the air. Screech isn't a good way to describe it. It sounded like nails on a chalkboard at 100 times the volume. I think I'd piss myself. I can't stand that sound. Anyway. But the tone was wrong. It had an organic, almost raspy quality to it. Definitely made by an animal. Start to freak the fuck out. Don't want to wake up my sister because she's a giant pussy who will probably just start crying, and then I'll be trying. She'll accuse me of trying to scare her, and I'm not trying to piss off my parents. So I calm myself down, decide to stay awake all night and listen for it. If it gets closer, I'll go wake up Dad. Definitely sobered up by now. Holy fuck. .png. Scared, but also feel brave for not running to my parents. An hour passes. Ain't heard shit. Get bored. Start playing with my little 20 questions ball. Those things were the shit. Hear sounds kind of like near the tent, but brushed them off as small animals. They weren't coming from the trees. I keep playing. 30 minutes pass or so. Suddenly realize something. There's no sounds coming from the outside. Dead silence. I peek my head out from under the sleeping bag. Literally nothing. My heart starts beating real fast. I get this overwhelming sense of dread. It's cold, but I start sweating like fuck. I sit there unmoving in silence for what felt like forever. Ears begin to adjust to the silence, and I realize I can hear something. Very quiet, but I could just barely pick it up. I realize I can hear breathing. Oh fuck. Again, it's the opposite direction of where my parents' tent is. It's towards the forest. Not my sister, she's under the sleeping bag, and her breathing is different. The breathing sounds like a horse after it runs. Big, deep breaths. From a big animal. Raspy as fuck. I start trying to convince myself all the noises are coming from a hurt deer or something. But deers don't fucking scream like that. I'll listen for 10 minutes or so. Sister snores and I get distracted for a second. I try to hone back in on the sound. I realize it's gone. Everything is back to dead fucking silence. Practically pissing myself at this point. Feeling of dread ain't going away. It gets worse and worse. I start fumbling around as quietly as I can for my flashlight. Hands clammy, fingers spaghetti. Start to smell something weird. Smells like fucking death. Shit. Everything smells like blood. Praying that my dad will smell it and wake up. I try to call him, but my throat closes up. I can't even fucking croak. I'm so fucking scared. I hear something extremely close to the tent, like the sounds of your lips when you open your mouth loudly. I silently start crying. I finally find my flashlight, trying to find the balls and turn it on. I hear something extremely fucking close to the tent, right in front of me. It was like a guttural moan. It's like when huskies talk.
Oh no. Oh, they say all kinds of stuff.
Fucking love huskies.
Yeah, that's kind of endearing. No, they're frightening sounding sometimes. I get it. Okay. But it's really deep and raspy. Time to die, .png. It starts making the sound over and over again. I literally piss myself. In the dark, I can kind of see something press up against the tent. Vaguely face-shaped. I realize it's trying to actually say something. I tell myself I'm going to count down from 10, turn on my flashlight, and fucking book it to my parents' tent. It stops talking. 9, 8, 7, shaking so fucking bad, trying to find the tent zipper. 6, 5, I can see it pressing up against the tent. I realize my sister's still asleep. Fuck it. 4, get out of my sleeping bag. 3, start to unzip the tent. Look back to where its face was. It's gone. .png. Nope. Unzip the tent, over the opening, run as fast as I can to parents' tent, trying to scream as loud as I possibly can, but nothing will come out. I crash into my parents' tent. Anna, what the fuck? Grabbing my dad hysterically at this point. He must have been able to tell how scared I was because he instantly changed from angry to concerned. What the fuck is that smell? I can barely speak. There's a face out there! I've never really seen my dad look scared, but if there was a time, this would be it. Where's your sister? Oh shit! She's still in the tent! It's open! It's fucking open! I fucking lose it! Hysterical! I run outside. My dad runs after me. Turn on the flashlight, and he grabs it. We both keep running towards the tent. Knees are shaking so bad, I can barely run. Dad starts screaming for my sister. See the tent. Dad stops and tells me to stay back. It might be a rabid animal if it's not scared by us. I can barely whisper, Daddy, it's not an animal. He starts shining the flashlight around the tent and yelling, it must be a skunk or something that smells like shit. Skunks don't fucking smell like rotting blood. I think he was trying to be brave. We walk around the mouth of the tent. Anon, sis, are you awake? Gets closer to the mouth of the tent. It's dark in the tent even though we have a flashlight. Almost looks like a shadow or something being casted in the tent. Wait, there's nothing that can be casting a shadow there. I think me and my dad both realized this at the same time. His voice is kind of shaky now. Anon, sis? The shadow kind of shudders. Yeah, it's not a fucking shadow. Whoever is in the fucking tent can get the fuck out right now. Dad starts running at the tent. This fucking thing turns around completely black. That's why we thought it was a shadow. But its face was white. Just fucking white. Completely flat. No nose. It had what I guess you could call eyes. Just vertical slits on its flat face. No visible mouth. Dad stops dead in his fucking tracks, just shining light on it. Suddenly, it takes off on all fours and runs out of the tent back into the woods and ran almost like a cat when it gets scared. That's the only way I can describe it. Dad only shocked for a second, but then he runs to the tent to check on my sister. Dad picks up sister. What the fuck? This bitch is still asleep. She wakes up.
Why are you yelling in the middle of the night?
You're okay? We go back to our car. Dad tells Mom we need to leave right now. Stop, you're just overreacting. It was probably a raccoon. Stop being a pussy bitch. I'm not about to drive home in the middle of the dark and crash, blah, blah, blah. Bitch. I'm still scared as fuck, but I'm not pissing myself anymore. It's like maybe 2 or 3 a.m. at this point. Dad finally compromises. Says we can sleep in the car until 6 a.m. and then we're leaving. We get situated. Dad is still worried about my sister. She seems fine though and falls asleep in the back. Mom and Dad can't sleep, so they go back to their tent but lock us in the car, laying on the ground. Yeah, I'm not fucking sleeping. An hour passes. Nothing. We all get into the car and try and wait till morning. Dad is still worried about my sister and doesn't seem to remember anything, and she falls back to sleep on the seats in the back seat. Mom is still pissed and can't sleep. Makes my dad go back to the tent to sleep there with her. They lock us in the car. I'm laying on the ground next to the back seats. Yeah, there's no fucking way I'm sleeping. Still scared, but not pissing myself anymore. An hour passes. Start getting hopeful it's gone for the night. Nope. Smell comes back. So much fucking worse. No fresh air in the car. I think I'm gonna vomit. I start to hear shuffling on the ground outside. Don't fucking look out the windows. My head is near the hinge of the car doors. I start to hear something messing with the car. It sounds like something scraping its nail back and forth over the hinge. Scrape, click, scrape. I close my eyes. I tell myself no matter what to not look outside. I start hearing this heaving sound. Sounds like coughing, laughing, and breathing all at the same time. Right next to my head. I start crying again. I'm too scared to scream. The moaning starts again. Hey, hi, 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 hi. It's saying hi over and over again. Hi, 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 hi. Desperately trying to call Dad. Sister wakes up. What's going on? Where's Dad? Emma, what is that? Oh God, please God, help, Dad! Are you? Help! Open your eyes! What is that? What is that? I hear parents screaming out the tent. I don't know what they saw because my eyes were still closed. But whatever it was, it scared them enough to drive right away then and there. My dad had to come back the next day for our stuff. I've camped there numerous times after this and experienced nothing. I hope this was worth the wait. Any ideas what I might have seen?
I like how there's a picture that he drew of this thing and it kind of just looks like a penis.
It looks like a big sloth, but with no head. Like its head got cut off and it's just a white stump.
Its neck and face is just a dick. It's a dick. It's a sloth with a dick head.
Dickheaded sloth.
Cock with claws.
It's also like a furry dick.
I don't like it. That's what makes
Like
it scary.
Like a furry?
Yeah, those are scary too. Sorry, Murray. Let me throw you under the bus.
Oh, I mean, originally I thought it was a werewolf because of the howling and the stench. Apparently, like, werewolves are stinky, and you can smell them from like a mile away. Well, not really, but they're very smelly.
There is a smelly beast coming up.
Is it my dog?
It's your mom.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I love you, Mom. Okay, this next one, little bit of a trigger warning. If real life tragedy and evil makes you very upset, maybe skip this one. It begins. I've had repeated contact with an alien visitor or entity since I was a kid. I don't know any other way to explain what I've seen or what I remember seeing. Be me, little kid. Get a drink of water. I see Bob the Builder digging around in my garden through the window. Because I'm a kid, this doesn't faze me somehow. I pop outside to say hi. I ask him what he's building. He smiles and says he's making a sandbox for me to play in. The next day, my dad says he's going to start building a sandbox in the backyard for me and my brothers so we can play in it. Thank you, Bob.jpg. Grow up a bit. I don't see Bob for many years. One day, the adults are very worried. They're all in the TV room talking. I think it was when 9/11 happened. I go outside because I'm bored/scared. It's fucking
Zaboomafoo. It's the lemur.
from the
I
Crap
remember
Brothers.
that show. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know who this is, so
that show finally ended.
So he sees Zaboomafoo.
yes, but he can tell it's based Bob. He just knows immediately it's the same entity. And he sits on the swing next to him. He asks asks where he's been, he points to the moon and he gives a cheeky lemur puppet smile. I ask why he's here now. He said he wanted to check up on me because some stuff happened. I thank him for the sandbox. He laughs and swings away into our tree like a retard until I can't see him anymore. Can't say that, kid. Long time, many years pass, no visits from Based Bob. I begin to think it was all a dream or my imagination. My parents think it's a cute story when I tell them. I finally learned to ride a bike. I'm slow at learning things, and I really should have learned years ago, but I'm still bad at it. Dad always keeps telling me to check both ways before I cross the street. I keep forgetting. Across the street back to my house, I hear a noise out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, I'm on the ground. Based Bob is wearing an Iron Man suit, the silver one, and he's gently lowered me to the ground. My bike is completely mauled to shreds under the car. Thank you, Based Bob. .jpg. Okay, time for a little bit of sad shit. I was trying to keep it light, but there's some not so fun stuff in here. My parents abused me and all my siblings when we were growing up. They were pretty religious and crazy about a lot of things. It changed in what aspects over time, but they definitely followed the whole spare the rod, spoil the child mentality. I've somehow ended up being the black sheep of the family because I'm kind of slow and stupid and stubborn and I daydream too much. So I got beat way more than any of the other kids. Anyway, back to the story. Dad finds out about the accident and the destroyed bike. He asks if I looked both ways. I lied, say I did. He knows I didn't. Not sure if he's mad about me being in danger or the bike being but he's pissed. Getting the ass beating of my life hurts so fucking much and it's going on forever. I'm just screaming at this point. I begin to scream and beg for Jesus to help me. All of a sudden, my dad stops hitting me, crying to the bed for a few more minutes before looking back. My dad is frozen in place, looking terrified as fuck. It's Based Bob, hovering in front of him, looking like his OG builder self again. The spoon my dad was using to beat me literally disintegrates into a million pieces. Dad's eyes are bulging, and his wrist begins to bend backwards. Snap, crackle, pop. .jpg. Bob looks at me, says he's sorry for not doing something sooner, can almost see tears in his eyes. He floats to the ceiling and fucks off. Dad never beats me again. If you're watching out there, Based Bob, thank you for the help. Come back and visit me sometime.
How old was OP?
Well, it sounded like he began like age, 3 to 5, and then later it was like, 8 years old, and later,
I mean, I
9
just
or
want to
10.
know what years he grew up in because it's kind of interesting archetype for that character.
Well, he dated himself, so I'd say like 8 years younger than us, because he was a
Okay,
little
so-
kid when 9/11 happened.
Okay, so Zoomer territory.
We were like big kids when 9/11 happened.
I was in 3rd grade.
I was in high
think
school.
What? You're a little boy.
I
Aw.
was. Now I'm a man.
I mean,
Finally.
you're still a kiddo to us.
I'm a man too.
Me too.
Woo! I'm a lady.
I could use my testicles as a parachute.
Tanuki Luke. So
That
this
just-
character, is it just like an apparition that comes in the form of like whatever popular media the kid is obsessed with?
It does kind of sound a bit like schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Yeah, not gonna lie. Being abused as a child, you make stuff up sometimes.
Like maybe when the spoon disintegrated into a million pieces and Bob the Builder floated into the ceiling, maybe what really happened is the kid like bit his dad's nose off and then he had to be rushed to the hospital and the kid didn't realize that. And that's why he never got beat again.
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate. We know from Robert Anton Wilson and firsthand experience that your holy guardian angel, quote unquote, can pretty much manifest as anything. So to him, it was Apuka, and then it was like Confucius, and then maybe it was the Pleiadians. And at some point, he's just like, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's Bob the Builder, it is what it is. It's my holy guardian angel. And so in this case, it sounds like it's his, quote, holy guardian angel, but it also maybe sounds like something a bit, I don't know, maybe it's not his guardian angel. Maybe this is some alien transdimensional being that just caught his attention. But either way, it sounds like the trauma that he went through played a part in manifesting this being, which doesn't sound impossible. It sounds more like, I don't know, if you're in an intense situation, like an emergency, that's when your prayers tend to pop off a little harder, right? Like you sometimes have more supernatural activity during times of intensity in your life.
I get what you're saying, but like we also don't know what the father's perspective was for that incident. So he could have been having like terrible memories run back through his head or like, been in shock of the appearance of God or something. Like we don't know what he saw, but there could have been a direct effect from the kid to the father to stop the abuse.
Well, also, when you go through such intense abuse, it is possible to kind of pop into a dissociative state, which may or may not be accompanied by like something that overlays reality. Like your brain kind of takes over and puts a different memory there, and that can happen.
Yeah, I'm just more interested in like why the dad had that reaction and stopped beating his kid.
Well, he supposedly experienced something very frightening or supernatural. So,
Yeah.
in theory, your holy guardian angel might appear like Satan or an angel of wrath or just a very pissed off cartoon character to somebody else. I don't know. That sounds kind of far fetched, but.
Well, and also, if it is a dissociative state, like on the other side of things, then it's something that he would probably pop into in the future. And so, of course, his dad would stop beating him because he would just pop into that state of disassociation.
Okay, two things. One, a Twin Peaks joke. Maybe that's all Bob is, the evil that builders do. And the second thing is, I find it interesting that he built him a sandbox to play in. And to play on what Luke was talking about a holy guardian angel, maybe it's like a false one, and that it was kind of like taking control of him. Like, there's a couple stories where, like, if you've watched Legion on FX about Charles Xavier from the X-Men, his son, Legion, there's some childhood telepathic psychic trauma that goes on, and he's like a schizophrenic telepathic anti-hero, and his body gets possessed by something. And when somebody like that gets possessed, like, there's all kinds of repercussions, of course, but it's kind of symbolic here is that, you know, a sandbox game is typically understood to be something like Grand Theft Auto, where it's mimicking the freedom of your experience in life, and for me, of Los Angeles in the last game they made. And it's kind of meta, and it's like I'm getting a little bit of the experience in this little sandbox, right? And you're kind of staying a child maybe until this entity it finally like let him go, and Bob the Builder and the freaking lemur from Zaboomafoo left him alone, and it came out later in life as like these avatars, these mental avatars that were symbolic of trauma, perhaps. And it's something like Silent Hill, you know, is great at presenting to you know, experiencers of the game. And I you know, that's what's cool about stories, is that you could definitely look at them in this way. Bob the Builder building you a sandbox. It's kind of scary. It's a trap.
I do want to riff off that for a minute, because it wouldn't be inappropriate to conceptualize God as a builder. Of course, we know the term demiurge means public artificer. Jesus is building a house, you know, the church, whatever, a new world. It's not an alien idea to associate that symbolism with God or Jesus.
What about the lemur?
I Googled it, and most of the results say they're good luck, protection, positivity, although some relate it to secret knowledge, navigation, guidance, and staying on top.
Well, you know, there's that whole Lumeria thing where they think that the lemurs were introduced into the world like through some like island bridge thing that existed in the past. It's a whole rabbit hole to go down.
Oh, that's right, this weird land bridge. So, okay, last thing I want to say about this story, we're really going off on Bob here. I've heard that if you do go into dissociative states because of trauma, you can sometimes create fictional characters or people to keep you company. And this is like an egregore or a tulpa. And then as you get older, if you fail to feed them, or they can grow without your consent and start to influence your lives in ways that might not be good for you, right? Like it could develop into a drinking problem, like, oh, this spirit likes to drink, and so it makes you drink. And this is all related psychologically to your trauma, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, you know, there's that occult backdrop of stuff that ties into it.
And that's why we associate demons with these types of lifestyles and stuff like that.
Or the illusion of it for the most part. Because like I was saying, the difference between what the son saw and the father saw, like I'm curious about the other perspective as well, because, you know, Malik, you brought up Silent Hill imagery and how that plays on illusion and the dichotomy or the duality of good and bad, good and evil, and how that can be flipped so easily. And your perspective can be completely opposite of what actually is going on. It just reminded me of, like in Silent Hill 3, a character comes up to the main character, Heather, and she's just like, I'm tired. Just tell me what's going on. I've been killing monsters and blah, blah, blah. And the other character looks at her and like tilts his head and he's like, you don't hear their screams, like basically insinuating that what she was perceiving as monsters were actually human beings that she was murdering. But that's the kind of like, you know, we don't know if when you disassociate, it could be like you could be in Candyland, but like in real life, you're actually like strangling your grandma. Like we don't know what's going on with that.
I was hoping that was going to be the end of The Mist, but I think that's another movie. Anyway.
I just want to say I'm willing to entertain multiple aspects in regards to these stories. Like I like all of the different things that you guys are bringing up and feel like it could all tie together maybe to make one whole picture.
It's cool to have the different perspectives or more, just to even think about it from different angles too when you read them.
I have an open door policy with these things. I believe all these things might be real, but if it were to happen to me, I would remain skeptical until something truly horrifying happened. Like, that's just how I am, so.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's a whole like show don't tell kind of experience for me. I want to see it. Like it's going to be horrific. Like it's not going to phase me until it's probably in front of my face. So sharing the same vibe that Luke just mentioned, I guess.
All right, so to round out the spooky for the free show, I have this next tale. It's also from In a Woods, because, you know, there's stuff out there in a woods. And this guy sounds kind of funny. He sounds a little irreverent, so gonna have to bleep some things probably. But this one is my favorite because I believe it could be a thing. It begins. Help my I've got one from just last year. B23, stalking In a Woods, Arkansas Ozarks with some new gear I'd been saving up for months. Boots, tack vest, even a milsurp gas mask. It was like Christmas. Being where I was and wanting to field test some of my personal prototypes, I had my nugget on hand. Wouldn't do much against big bears, but I'd ruin any snake or stray dog or cougar's day right into hell. Had a couple strippers and 2 clipazines I built and wanted to field test it in my pouches. Some rolled up targets stuck in my loops complemented a survival gear, compass, topo map, thermal blanket, spare undies, extra bullet, MREs, canteen, and a camelback, amphetamines, bug spray, rope, spikes, mallet, e-tool, shower power, baby powder, TP, the works. I've done nothing heretical to my nagant, I swear. Clipazines are what I call the jerry-rigged magazines I custom built from old cannibalized mags and sheet metal. They fit right onto any nugget's feet if you pull the floor plate out. I've also done some Heinlein-esque mods to my gas mask, an airtight, at least for now, water feed, but I digress. Basically, I'm practicing for the inevitable commie capitals, Jew, golden beer, Jew, cracker, Chinese, Korean, Canadian, Cathorian invasion. I was having a fucking great time romping around the woods, playing with my FOV and the mask, testing the reliability of the clipazine, generally having fun. I wandered next to a creek bed and decided it was time to practice my guerrilla tactics. It was late summer or early fall, so no danger of getting my gear wet in the non-existent stream. Shit was in more danger of water damage from my sweat. After triple checking my safety, I proceeded to do a series of scree slides and uphill hustles in full survival gear. Needless to say, I got winded right quick. I stood up panting in that dry stream bed and decided to check my position with the topo map and compass so I could set a course for home. In the middle of orienting myself, I caught wind of a smell. In before blood and copper, it wasn't. At first, I assumed it was a sweaty famunda, but the bunk quickly evolved into something fucking worse. A dark undercurrent of rot, dark notes of animal musk, a bassy score of raw garbage punctuated by garlicky timpani, and a thick black score of something between skunk and rotting onion sludge, a symphony of stench. And the conductor decided to skip the adagio and drive to the opening movement straight into the scherzo because that shit was getting stronger. I went into straight operating mode, popped an Addy from my pouch for extra focus, pulled the clipazine from my nugget. It seemed to be working fine, but I was going to have to shoot something. I'd prefer not to have any risk of jamming. I gagged and nearly puked up that Addy tab I took. The smell was just that strong at this point. Whatever the source was, it was definitely mobile and getting closer. Fuck it. I pulled my mask up around my neck and pulled it over my face. It helped slightly, but my fucking dumbass waterline wasn't 100% airtight around the joint. I walked cautiously and slowly along the creek bed to where the slope was the shallowest, listening for twig snap or animal sounds from above. I definitely heard something shuffling around up there. And it sounded bigger than what my nugget was up for. It was a near constant snuffle grunt, a sloppy, uncoordinated crunching around the bark and leaves. That mixed with the smell and mind immediately jumped to big bear, rabid, big bear. Let me tell you about Ozark big bears straight from my dad's mouth. Dad lived in the Ozarks for 58 years, and in that time, only 2 things have managed to shake him: the challenges of fatherhood and the big bears. According to him, the native black bears were hunted to near extinction in the 40s and 50s. To correct this, the ANRC, NRCS, and Arkansas Fish and Game Commission released 250 bears into the Ozark and Wichita Mountains. Their websites insist they were all black bears. My dad insists this is bullshit. bullshit. According to him, more than a few of the bears released in the Ozarks had been brown bears, and that they had inbred with a few remaining locals and reintroduced blacks. Thanks to a little phenomenon known as hybrid vigor, the resulting offspring were bigger and meaner than their parents, and fuck me, also fertile. When I asked him to prove it, he simply left the summer porch, went upstairs, and came back with a manila folder labeled BB. He pulled out a couple Polaroids and asked me to take a look. I saw a big black and brown something rooting around behind a clothesline. Dad directed my attention to the clothesline about 50 feet away from us, strung between two poles at 5'6" off the ground. The same clothesline in the picture. The something's shoulder was about a fart's length under the line, despite being in the goddamn background. I looked through the other pictures, one of them rooting in the trash, another barely concealed by trees, all of them slightly shaky. Detailed was hard to come by, but I was convinced. My dad told me two things about how to avoid getting my shit shredded by these big bears. One, big bears are stupid as shit. Something to do with them being hybrids. This makes them more dangerous than other bears because they ain't afraid of you. This also makes them smell like shit, and you'll smell them coming a mile off. If you smell big bear, get inside, go upstairs, but take the shotgun first and some deer slugs. And two, if you do see a big bear and you ain't at home, you ain't got a shotgun loaded with slugs, hide. Up a tree if you can. They're faster than you, and it's no use running. I tell you all this because after 23 years, I'd finally managed to prove my dad wrong about something. Well, half wrong. There's something in the Ozarks that matches my dad's pictures of big bears, but whatever they are, they sure as f*** are not bears. Back to the woods. I would have stayed in that creek bed and waited for something to f*** off on its business, but the light was already slanting through the trees, and as bad as my dad make big bear sound, I sure as f*** didn't want to get stuck with the goddamn rabid one here after dark. I instead opted to climb up the opposite edge of the creek bed. I had to scramble over some big rock outcroppings and half stand, half lean against the slope of the hill, but I figured that if anything, that would be one more layer of protection against the something. I'd gotten a few glimpses of the something over my shoulder as I climbed, but this was my first good look at it. I just f***ing stared. Like I'd said in my previous post, this wasn't a fucking bear. It was bear-like, but not a bear. I've been into sci-fi my entire life. Heinlein-esque mods, my gas mask, etc. But even got Barlow's Guide to the Extraterrestrials from my awesome late stepmom. So when I saw something for the first time, my fucking nerd brain immediately went, oh, a Soulador. Except it wasn't. It looked like a Soulador, a grizzly bear, and a sloth had a three-way on top of a garbage heap to make it, and it had a long, prognathous snout like a stubby-ass trunk, big angular shoulders, and feet that looked like manhole covers covered in dirty, matted fur, and a body like a furry blimp. Its fur was the same charcoal, black, day-glow brown I saw in the pictures and full of mats and clumps of dirt. I mean, I stared at it, drinking in the details, trying to make fucking sense of what I was looking at for a solid 2.5 minutes, and it somehow hadn't noticed me. Jesus, these things were dumb. I remembered feeling a twinge of relief. If it hadn't noticed me trying to scrabble out of a rocky gully, it wouldn't notice me sneaking away. That's when I farted. The something stopped. My breath stopped. My heart stopped. The only sound in those woods was my fucking fart echoing and the sound of my nose blistering under the something's odoriferous assault. Like slow-mo. The thing turned its head, looked at me, sniffed the air, and stood up. It had been shuffling around crouched low to the ground the entire time. What I thought were shoulder blades were its fucking elbows. It could tie its shoes without bending down, but its paws probably would have crushed its Air Jordans to bits. They were like trash can lids. It sniffed the air again and coughed barked like it was asking me a goddamn question. Gorp! I swear to me, Mom, that's what it fucking sounded like. Gorp. Be me. Be dumb fuck who doesn't listen to his dad. Be awkward cringe lord who fucking farts when he's trying to sneaky breaky away from a goddamn gorp. Aim for the center mass. Fire. The bullet didn't flock into the gorp because, hey, if you're gonna die, you might as well give your killer a stupid name in your head, right? As much as it thwumped, there was a puff of dirt and hair when it thwumped, and bless my luck, the gorp flinched from the impact. I wait for blood. I guess that gorps are so covered in nasty flea-ridden hair mats that over time their poor hygiene gives them a natural body armor because that thing didn't fucking bleed. What it did do is rear up and gorf at me, a little growl that my colon decided was a warning because it was producing bricks big enough to construct a barricade. I worked the bolt and fired another shot, this time at its ugly sloth bear elephant face. This time it flocked. So did the dirt a dozen feet to the left because it ricocheted off its fucking skull. The gorp just stood there, staring at me. Like it was too dumb to realize it could have stood in the stream bed and grabbed me by my face when I pelted it with useless bullets and shit myself. I yelled at it and fired a third shot in any direction at all, trying to scare it off. The gorp or gorth or big bear, whatever it was, dropped all fours, lurched toward me once, then did a 360 and shuffled away. It worked. I stood there until the sky turned from blue to orange because I snapped out of it and tactically retreated back home. When I got back, I told my dad everything. I probably should have mentioned that I was visiting him for a few days. Oops. He probably could smell the, quote, big bear on me, and it's no use lying to him. When I got to the part about the big bears and what they really were, he refused to believe me. Then he got pissed at me. Then he locked the doors and camped up outstairs for the rest of our visit. I had to fucking bring him beer from downstairs when he wanted to shoot the shit. The weird thing was, as scared as he was, and as weirded out as I was at seeing my dad as spooked as a kid who's seen a skeleton, I wasn't scared. I remember that very clearly. I wasn't scared. I guess you could say I was too interested to be scared. If I was scared, I would have just bolted, and I'd probably be typing this from inside a year-old gorp turd. If I had a guess, I'd probably be that fucking Adderall that I popped that kept me from switching into the run home scared to mama tit mode. And then there's another post responding to him. He's like, Opie here, have you considered that what you saw might have been a megatherium or a giant ground sloth? They got pretty big. Its top size was up to 20 feet. It had long arms, and their skin was full of interlocking bones that would have looked like natural chainmail. As for the stumpy ass trunk, it may have been either evolved over time or might have had one all along. Soft tissues don't fossilize, and the skin impressions of the face have never really been found. They lived in South America as recently as 10,000 years ago, so it's not that much of a stretch that a branch population could exist in the Ozarks today. Some pictures have surfaced that some people think indicate the giant ground sloth still exists in the Appalachians, a habitat note so far from the Ozarks. And then he responds back. He's like, I just got back from the store and holy shit, Anon, my fuck, that's a gorp. That's a gorp. If you slapped a dinky taper trunk, stretched its arms out and fed it till it swelled up like a curvy land whale, it'd be a gorp. Help my fuck, Anon. Like, I'm pretty much a paleo nerd, science brain commando, but it never occurred to me. So for the last year or so, I've been convinced that I saw some weird Native American spirit monster or an escaped government project or one of those skinwalkers that X is always fapping about, but holy tits, there's a goddamn giant ground sloth living in the Ozarks. I gotta call my dad.
That's a pretty great story.
Dude, go look up a giant ground sloth. It's the most terrifying thing you'll ever see.
Yeah, they're already ugly. I couldn't imagine a giant one.
What's interesting to consider, like, what if some of these Bigfoot sightings are giant ground sloths? Although that Patterson
fast.
Gimlin film doesn't really look like a ground sloth at all. It looks like a fucking Bigfoot.
Sloths, like, wriggle around on the ground.
And they're vegans, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, they say that about everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunistic animals out there.
Yeah.
Even rabbits.
Yeah, rabbits will eat meat.
I like it that we're classified as an omnivore.
We eat everything and anything. Yeah, like one time I looked out the back window in my kitchen and I saw a cute little squirrel like right there on the patio. And I was like, oh, he's eating something. And I looked closer and it was like a headless dead bird body. I was like, holy crap. I felt like I was watching like a horror movie or something.
It's supposed to be a peanut.
Yeah, I know, right? I guess they gotta get their protein too.
That was its name before it ripped its head off and ate its body.
Tasty peanut.
All that jelly's on the inside. What if you'd like to hear more spoopy stories and creepy pasta and green text? Then please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only get you this extended episode, but all of our extended episodes going back before the Roaring 20s, with more content than you can binge in a week or 2 weeks or something. I don't know. Your friends may throw you in the loony bin if you listen to too much Whole Rabbit. You've been warned. Don't bring it up at Thanksgiving dinner.
Or do if you want to have some fun.
Yeah, especially if there's carrots on the plate.
Speaking of which, thank you everybody. Eat carrots and shoot lasers.
Pew, pew, pew.